and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I'm just going to start out by showing you a couple props that you might want for this practice today. The first is a couple yoga blocks. Now, if you don't have yoga blocks, you can also use even a sturdy book, a hardcover book. It's just going to be something that's going to bring the floor up to meet us a little easier. You might not need these, but they're an option there. And the other thing we will need is something to use as a strap. So I have this yoga strap here, but you can use a tie, even a bath towel, just something that we're going to have it wrapped around the ball of our foot. We're going to use it to bring our leg up. So if you want to press pause, you can grab a couple of those things, and then we'll get started. So we're going to start out class today in simple seated. So just sitting cross-legged on our mat, if that feels comfortable. I have a meditation cushion underneath my hips. It kind of raises our hips up a little bit and allows our knees to come lower than our hips, which is where we get the most comfort. But you can always use a blanket folded up, you can use couch cushions or little pillows, anything you'd like if that feels better, and it might feel good for you to sit right on your mat too. Another variation of this we can do, if it feels better, is we can have one leg in, one leg out. Just finding a spot where you can be sitting that you're going to get a little bit of comfort from. Now we'll maybe take this time just to come onto our mats. We'll maybe start with one nice deep inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth, letting go of the tensions of the day. And then we'll just bring our breathing to inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our nose if you don't have any restrictions. Or maybe with your next exhale, just softly closing your eyes or softening your gaze forward. Allowing ourselves this opportunity to leave everything else behind and only focus on ourselves. Knowing if there's anything we think we should be doing right now, it'll still be there when we're done. And just allowing our focus to be on moving our bodies, calming our minds, and connecting with our breath. Maybe doing a little scan of our body here, starting at our head and scanning downward, seeing if we are holding any tension anywhere. And if we find where we're holding tension, we can send our breath there and thinking about relaxing that tension, sending relaxation to anywhere we're holding tension. Maybe just thinking about stacking our heart over our hips, our shoulders over our heart, and our head over our shoulders. Yoga is a wonderful time to cease striving and just be, accepting ourselves as we are today. So gratitude is the quality of being thankful. You acknowledge all the good in your life. Bringing gratitude into our lives has many scientifically proven benefits. It helps us sleep better. It improves our physical and mental health. It improves our self-esteem. It increases empathy. And it creates resilience within us. Gratitude is saying thank you for all you have in our life. Or as Melody Beattie says, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. Today we're going to practice a gratitude class. So start now. We're just going to practice our 10 count breathing. So we're going to inhale through our nose to the count of 4. Pause for the count of 4, exhale through our nose for the count of 4, and then we'll repeat that. So we'll do just a couple breaths all together. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause, 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe do 2 more breaths like that, just with our own counting. then just returning back to your regular breathing, your natural breathing. So gratitude is a feeling, but it's also a choice. Every day we have to choose to be grateful for what we have in our life. One thing I found interesting is that every language in the world has a way of saying thank you. And gratitude crosses all boundaries, age, gender, and nationality, and is emphasized in all religions. Gratitude is an inherent quality that resides inside each of us. Simply put, gratitude helps us weather the difficult seasons of life, as well as the good ones. So today in this class, every time we bring our hands to prayer hands, or Anjala Mudra, which is when our palms of our hands are together, and our thumbs against our chest bone there. Each time we come to prayer hands today, let's just take a breath, a moment, to remember something we're grateful for. It can be something big or small, something major or insignificant. Just thinking about something or someone we're grateful for. Choosing to bring gratitude into our practice and our lives today. So we're going to start a little bit of a warm-up here. Maybe just gently opening your eyes when it feels good. We'll maybe just start by bringing our hands together at heart center into prayer hands or Anjala Mudra. Maybe closing our eyes one more time for one breath here and just thinking of something or someone we're grateful for. And then we'll lower our hands, just bringing them down onto our thighs or wherever feels good. We'll just start maybe with some shoulder rolls. So rolling our shoulders up and down our back, bringing our shoulders up towards our ears, and then bringing them down. 3 times going backwards. And then we're going to practice doing that 3 times forwards. So just reversing our direction. And we'll start warming up our neck a little with some gentle neck rolls. We'll bring our left ear towards our left shoulder. Feeling a gentle stretch in that right neck. And just slowly rolling forward. Bringing our right ear towards our right shoulder this time. And then we'll roll forward again, this time noticing if we feel any tension. Maybe stopping and holding in that spot, stretching some of that out. Until our left ear comes to our left shoulder. And this time, if we'd like a little bit more stretch, we can really gently bring that left hand up to the top or to the right side of our head. And then we'll roll that neck forward, just gently one more time. Stretching out any places we feel tension. And bringing our right ear to our right shoulder. Maybe if we'd like a little more stretch, bringing our right hand just to the outside of the left head. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to seated. And we're going to do just a few side stretches. So we're going to bring our hands to prayer hands one more time. Thinking of what we're grateful for. Raising our hands up. And we're going to lower our left hand down. Just beside our left hip. And bring our right hand overhead. Just a gentle side stretch here. And bring ourselves back up. Our hands together. We're going to lower that right hand this time. Just a gentle stretch through our left side body. And we'll bring our right hand up to meet our left hand, palms together, lowering our hands back down to heart center. We'll bring our hands to our thighs again, and we're just going to flow through some seated cat or cow. So we're going to inhale, bringing our belly forward, sending our gaze up, and then exhale, rounding our back into cat pose, bringing the crown of our head forward. Inhale to cow, lowering those shoulders down, and exhaling to cat. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to seated. We're just going to gently come through a seated twist here. So just remembering a very gentle twist. We're just warming up our spines. We'll bring our left hand behind our left hip, our right hand to our left thigh. Inhale, lengthening our spine, and exhale, twisting to the left. Starting with our core, followed by our chest. And the last thing, if it feels all right to come, is our gaze. Inhale, lengthen our spine, and exhale, untwist. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So, right hand behind our right hip, left hand on our right thigh. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, twisting, starting with our core and our chest, and lastly our gaze. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to untwist, back to the center. And we're going to come, if you're on a cushion, you might want to squeeze off that now, just bringing ourselves to the floor. And we're going to bring our hands just back behind us gently and our feet out in front of us. So our feet are just going to be about hip width apart, maybe a little bit wider, I guess, than hip width apart. Our knees bent, feet flat on the mat. And we're just going to flow through some windshield wiper legs here. So we're going to inhale, engaging our core, and with our exhale, we're just going to lower our knees towards the right, thinking about keeping our sits bones engaged with the floor. Inhaling, engaging that core, back up to center. Exhale to the left. Inhaling up to center. And you can bring your legs out a little bit wider if that feels a little more comfortable. We're just going to flow through that a few times with our own breath. So on the inhale and on our exhale, we'll lower. Inhale, rising back up. Now once we've done that a couple times, we'll just come back to center. And this time we're going to come into cobbler pose. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. We used to call this butterfly when I was a kid. So our knees are going to basically, our lower half's going to make a diamond. And then we're going to bring our hands, if it feels all right, to our ankles, or maybe linking our fingers to our big toes, just whichever feels best for you. And we're going to inhale, lengthening our spine, and we're just going to hinge at our hips, keeping our back nice and long and straight, and coming forward, just to wherever we can feel a nice stretch. If you'd like a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring your elbows to the inside of your knees. Just remembering here to hinge at the hips and keep a nice long back. And just a gentle stretch since we're still warming up. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to seated. And from here, we're gonna make our way into child's pose. So, if it feels okay, and come back to simple seated. And you can just bring yourself forward and twisting your knees or your legs. You can also untwist your legs and just come back up onto hands and knees. And then sinking back into child's pose. So for child's pose, we're going to bring our big toes together, our knees out wide. Your knees can be together as well if that feels better. For you, I prefer my knees out wide. And then we're going to think about melting our chest towards our mat, bringing our head towards our mat if that feels okay. Think about sinking our sits bones towards our heels or the backs of our feet. And if it feels better for you, you can also bring your head to a block or a book or a pillow, or you can even stack your fists and bringing your head or your forehead onto your fists. Sometimes that feels a little bit better as well, instead of having your arms stretched out. So just choosing where you feel a little bit of comfort in child's pose here. And just remembering that child's pose is accessible at any point in time throughout your practice. You can come to child's pose, this pose, anytime. And just a reminder today to listen to your body, choosing what feels right for you, and using this time of distancing to really connect inward, focusing only on your body and mind. And just a reminder to accept yourself as you are and where you are today. You may look different, your practice may look different than it did yesterday, and that's okay. Just remembering to treat ourselves with grace and love. So once we're in child's pose, if you have your hands stacked, we're just going to stretch our hands out for a few minutes and do a few side stretches. So we'll walk our hands over towards the left side of our mat here, feeling a nice little gentle stretch up our right side body. Maybe even thinking about lowering that right sits bone or right glute down towards our right heel. And then we're going to walk our hands back to center, and this time walking them over to the left side of our mat, thinking about sinking our left sits bone or glute down towards our left heel. Feeling a nice stretch up the intercostal muscles on our left side. And then we're going to walk our hands back to the center, and we're going to come up into tabletop. And then we're just going to walk our hands forward a little bit from tabletop, and we're going to come into puppy pose. So how we're going to do that is we're going to keep our hips up above our knees, and we're going to keep them up high, and we're just going to sink our front body, our chest, melting it towards our mat. And if it feels okay, you can bring your head towards your mat. If you feel any discomfort coming out of this pose, it's a gentle shoulder stretch here. And then we'll bring ourselves back up. Maybe bring ourselves up to tabletop. And we'll maybe, I think we'll walk our hands forward a little more. And we're going to bring our chest through those arms, coming into a modified plank. You can always tuck your toes, come up into full plank if you'd like. Then we're going to tuck our elbows and lower our body down. I'll bring our hands, making sure they're down near the bottom of our hips, inhaling up to cobra. Keeping our core nice and engaged here, pressing into the tops of our feet. We want to be able even to lift up those hands, not much weight in our hands. And then exhale, we're going to push ourselves back to child's pose or into down dog if you'd prefer. And then we're going to do about 2 of those little heat series just to get our bodies a little bit warmed up. So you can come forward from child's pose or downward facing dog into your plank or modified plank, lowering down, inhaling up to cobra or your up pose, down or upward dog if that feels good. Exhale, lowering back to child's pose or down dog, inhaling forward. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up, and exhale back to downward facing dog or child's pose. If you're in child's pose now, we're going to all meet in downward facing dog. So we're going to come up, tucking our toes, bringing our belly towards our thighs, maybe keeping a nice bend in our knees to start. And then we're going to walk our feet up towards our hands into forward fold. And then inhaling up to half lift. Exhale down to forward fold. Inhaling our arms up, rising all the way up to toe mountain. Bring our hands together, remembering into that prayer hands. And exhaling down. Maybe just closing our eyes, taking one breath here. Thinking about what we're grateful for. And lowering our hands back down to mountain. So once we're in mountain, we're actually just going to flow through a couple heat series here. So that's that, or we're going to, a couple full sun salutations. So that heat series on the bottom, plus our half sun salutation on top. Maybe we'll do a half sun salutation on top first, sorry. Inhaling our arms up. Exhale, swan diving into a forward fold. Nice bend in our knees so our belly comes towards our thighs, crown of our head towards the mat. We can always have our hands coming onto a block here if that feels better. Then we're going to inhale, half lift or flat back, keeping our core engaged here. Exhale, forward fold. Nice bend in our knees, inhaling, rising all the way up. Lowering bring our hands back down to heart center, gratitude. So now we're gonna do a couple full sun salutations. So we'll inhale our arms up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. We'll plant our hands, stepping back with our right foot and then our left into downward facing dog. You can always come down to child's pose here if you'd like. Then we're going to inhale our body forward to plank or modified plank, whichever feels good. Exhale, tucking your elbows, lowering down. Inhaling up to cobra or up dog, choosing your up pose. Then exhaling back to downward facing dog. Maybe one breath here. And then we're going to walk our feet up to meet our hands into forward fold. Inhaling to half lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up, bring your arms up to tall mountain. And bring our hands together, lowering our hands to heart center. Gratitude. And then back to mountain pose. So we'll do the same thing one more time. Inhaling our arms up. Exhale, swan dive into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Planting our hands, stepping back with our left foot. And then our right foot into downward facing dog. Inhaling our body forward into plank or modified plank. Bring your knees down if you'd like. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up to your up pose, cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhaling back to downward facing dog. Maybe taking one breath, pedaling out your feet here. And walking our feet up to meet our hands. To forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up. And lowering our hands back down to heart center. Gratitude. We're going to lower our hands back into mountain pose. And this time we're going to step into warrior two. So maybe start with our right foot. We're going to step back. Experimenting with your body, seeing how wide of a stance feels good to you. Left foot's going to point forward, right foot's going to be parallel with the back of the mat. And our hips and shoulders are going to be facing that long edge of the mat for this pose. And we're going to sink into that warrior two, bringing that left knee either over top of our ankle or even less than. Keeping it in line with our ankle to protect our knee. If it feels okay, you can bring your arms up, straight out in front and behind of you, and then your gaze can come over that left middle finger. Taking a nice breath here, lowering your shoulders away from your ears. And we're going to bring that left hand up and our right hand down our left or right leg into reverse warrior. Your gaze can come up to your left palm, or even straight ahead if that feels better. Back to warrior two. We're going to come into modified side angle next. So we're going to bring that forearm of our left hand onto our left thigh. But we're just kind of resting it there. We don't have any weight on it. Then we're going to think about stacking our shoulders up to the side and thinking about our body being a straight line out our foot. We can even send that arm, biceps over our ear, so we have a nice straight line. Then we'll push ourselves up, using lots of core to bring ourselves back up to warrior two one more time. And then we're going to lower our hands. We're going to bring our right hand to our right hip. We're going to straighten that front leg and just keep a softening in that knee. We don't want to hyperextend it. We're going to bring our left hand out straight in front of us, jut our right hip back, stretch our left hand forward, and then just bringing our hand down to wherever it fits. So it might come to the mat, it might come to our ankle, it might come up higher, just wherever feels good. We're coming into triangle here. And we're going to think about stacking those shoulders. Our right hand can just come resting on our lower back. If it feels okay, you can bring your right hand up straight, just ensuring you can see that right thumb out of the corner of your eye. But sometimes it just feels better to leave your hand right on your lower back and you get all the same benefits of the pose. So from here, we're gonna have lots of core again. We're gonna bend that left knee and bring ourselves up to one more warrior two. I think that's the third time I've said one more warrior two. Now we'll lower our hands, straighten our knees. We're just gonna heel toe our feet towards the long edge of the mat. So you'll probably be facing the side. We're gonna come through some goddess or prayer squats. So we're gonna inhale our arms up, bring the palms of our hands together, exhaling, coming into a squat. Thinking of something we're grateful for. Just check in, make sure those knees are over top of our ankles. Inhaling up, exhaling squat. Inhaling up, exhaling squat, and each time just thinking of something we're grateful for. So inhaling up one more time, exhale, maybe just holding the squat for a breath or two. If you'd like a little more challenge here, you can lift your heels, coming into a balancing squat. And if you have those lifted, lowering those heels. Pushing yourself back up to standing, lowering your hands, heeling to our feet a little closer together. And then we'll just step our feet together back into mountain at the front of your mat. And we're gonna do that on the other side now. First we'll maybe just do a half sun salutation. So we'll inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up. Hands above our head, palms together. Exhaling them down to heart center. Back to mountain. So this time we're going to step back with our right foot, left foot, the other right, left, into warrior two. So we're going to bring our right foot straight forward. Our left foot's going to be parallel to the back of our mat. You might find it feels better to bring your feet out a little wider or a little in, just experimenting with your body, listening, seeing what feels right. And then when you're ready, sinking down into that warrior two, keeping that right knee over top of our right ankle. If it's falling inwards, maybe just think about tracking it over our baby toe, just so that it's over top of the ankle. Inhaling our arms up to warrior two arms if that feels all right. You can always bring those hands to heart center too and staying right here if that feels better. Our hips and shoulders are square to the long edge of our mat. Our gaze can come over top of our right middle finger if that feels okay. Maybe even lowering your shoulders here. Then we'll drop that left hand down our left leg. Our right hand bringing it up overhead into reverse warrior. And then back to warrior two. And this time we're going to come to modified side angle on this side. So our right forearm coming onto that right thigh, but just sort of resting there. Stacking our shoulders, thinking about opening our body up to the side. If it feels okay, we can bring that left arm, bicep over the ear, lots of core here. Nice straight line. Out our foot to the top of our fingers. And then we'll use our core, pushing back up to warrior two. We're gonna come into triangle here, so we're gonna straighten our legs, lower our hands. Just keeping a softening in that front knee. Left hand to our left hip, right hand out front. We're gonna jut that hip back, stretch forward, and bringing our hand down onto our leg, wherever it feels comfortable. And then we're gonna think about stacking our shoulders, opening our body to the side. That left hand can come straight up, just making sure you can see it out of the corner of your eye. But you can always just keep that left hand right on your hip. We get all the same benefits from right here. And then we're gonna bend that right knee, keeping our core engaged, bring ourselves up to this time one more warrior two. And we'll lower our hands, straighten our legs. We're gonna heel to our feet out to that long edge of the mat again. And this time we're gonna keep our toes tucked in a little bit more than our heels. We're gonna come into a wide-legged forward fold. So we're gonna start by engaging our core here, keeping our spine nice and long and strong. And we're gonna hinge at our hips, hinging forward. Now here, if you've got one of those blocks, you can hinge forward until we come to flat back. So you can have your hands on the mat with your flat back if you'd like, or even coming to a block or a book, whichever you prefer. Keeping a softening in our knees here. And then with our next exhale, we're just gonna allow ourselves to come into a forward fold. So coming to wherever feels good to you, a softening or a bend in your knees. We're gonna keep that bend in our knees that allows our belly to come onto our thighs. And then the crown of our head will come down towards the mat. And then we'll bring ourselves back up to half lift. And this time we're just gonna walk our hands towards the left, coming into like a side lunge. Getting a nice stretch on the inside of our right leg. And we'll walk our hands over to the right this time. A nice stretch on the left leg. And we'll walk our hands back to the center. One more wide-legged forward fold. Bringing our belly towards our thigh, folding forward. Deborah Adele said of a time when she was not practicing gratitude, she said, "I had imprisoned myself in a life of lack." And I thought, what an amazing way to say it. When we focus on what others have and what we are missing, we always feel like we aren't living up to our expectations. From here, we're just gonna bring ourselves up, engaging our core. I'm just gonna roll all the way up, back up to standing, heel to our feet, a little closer together, and then we're gonna step them together back at the front of the mat again. Maybe rolling out our feet a little bit. We're gonna do a half sun salutation again. So we'll inhale our arms up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift or flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up. Bring our hands together, lowering our hands back to heart center. Just thinking again about something we're grateful for. So this time we're gonna come into what's called 3-point balance. So if you have a book or a block, we're gonna set it out in front of you. And it might even be 2 books or blocks. And that is perfectly normal. So just bringing whatever you can out in front of you. We're gonna start out, well maybe start actually, just coming into a forward fold. And then we'll come to half lift. And from our half lift, we're gonna bring our hands straight down, out of our shoulders, and that's when we're gonna, so we can come to that block, or we can tent our hands on the mat, or bringing them to the mat, whichever feels okay. And we're gonna start by lifting our right leg up and just bringing it up. So right now we might have that right leg 1 inch off the mat. We might have it coming way up. Just choosing where feels okay for you. Might be 6 inches off the mat. We're just thinking about having 3 points, our 2 hands and our left foot as our balancing. And then we're gonna lower that foot back to meet the left, into forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up. Hands back one more time, heart center. We're gonna come into tree pose from here. So we're going to start with that left foot. We're gonna bring our right foot, we're gonna ground into the left foot, so like a tree with its roots. We're gonna bring our right foot up. Now we can start with that right foot kick-standed, right up against that left one. We're gonna bring our hands to heart center. We can get lots of balancing here. So if this is where you are today, just working right here. You can also bring that right foot up onto your calf, or even up onto your thigh, not my thigh today. Engaging your core here, standing nice and tall and strong like a tree. Remembering what you're grateful for. And we'll lower that right foot down, maybe rolling out our left foot. We're going to do the same thing on the other side now. So we're going to start coming into that, inhaling our arms up, exhale, coming into that forward fold. And this time, if you'd like to use those blocks or books, you can bring them out. Inhaling up to a flat back. Bring your hands down onto the mat from there. And then we're going to slowly lift that left foot off the mat this time. Bringing that to wherever you are at today. Keeping that left foot flexed into 3-point balance. Then we'll lower that left foot back down to meet our right. Inhaling to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhaling all the way up. Bring our palms together and lowering our hands down. We're going to come into tree pose on the other side now. So we're going to start thinking about rooting down through our right foot. Sending roots into our mat. Helping ourselves grow up nice and strong. We'll bring that left foot. If it can be kickstanded right off the mat there. Hands can come to heart center into Anjali Mudra. If you'd like you can also bring your foot up to your calf or all the way up to your thigh. Just ensuring we don't have our foot pushing on our knee. And engaging our core here, standing up nice and tall. Maybe thinking of someone with a string from your pelvis to the top of your head, and then picture them pulling that string up nice and tight. I read something today that I thought was really pretty. It says, a tree that wants to touch the sky must extend its roots into the earth. The more it wants to rise upwards, the more it has to grow downwards. So to rise in life, we must be down to earth, humble, and grateful. So we'll lower that left foot back down. And we're going to start making our way down to our mat here. So we're going to inhale our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Planting our hands. From here, I think we're going to step back with our left foot. We're going to come into a lunge to start with. So here's another time where if you'd like, you can have those books on your mat on either side of your right foot. Sending that left foot out straight behind us into a runner's lunge. Sending lots of energy out through that heel. And then from here, if you'd like, you can always lower that left foot back down. I'm going to go onto the side so you can see this, sorry. So we've got two choices here. We can either be, so we want to have our front knee wants to be over top of our ankle. So we can be in crescent lunge here with that back leg down, or knee down, or we can be up into low lunge. So from wherever you are today, we're going to build up into high lunge if that feels all right for you. So from runner's lunge, we're going to bring ourselves up into high lunge, thinking about having kind of our hips in the middle between our back foot and our front, our shoulders over our hips. You can even inhale our arms up here, or maybe we'll bring them to prayer hands. Now if you are in crescent lunge, you can just bring yourselves up from crescent lunge. But if it doesn't feel good to come here, you can always stay right here or right here, just choosing where it feels right. And then I'm going to lower my hands from wherever you are. And then this time we're going to drop our knees so we're all in crescent lunge. And then from here, we're going to come into lizard. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to turn on my music first, sorry. We're going to heel toe our feet, or that right foot, out towards the outer edges of our mat. We're going to bring our hands into the middle. And then we're going to have our toes out pointed farther. I'm going to come to the front this time, sorry guys. So that our toes are out farther than our heels. Our hands are in the middle here. From here you can tuck your feet and you can be up. So your back leg, your back knee's off the mat like a lunge, or you can have it down. And then we're just going to feel a stretch in our hips here. If it feels okay for you, you can come down here, but knowing that we're gonna get lots of stretch right here. We just wanna be very gentle. So maybe let's stay up actually. You can even come up onto your block if that feels okay. Doesn't feel very secure to me, so. Staying right here. And then I'm gonna shift my weight back. And we're now gonna bring that right foot back. We can sink back into child's pose here for a breath or two. And if you'd like, you can even take this time to do a quick heat series. Staying in child's pose or down dog, if that feels what's right for you. Otherwise, inhaling up to plank. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling to your up pose. And exhaling back. Maybe we'll all meet back in child's pose now. So we're gonna do the other opposite leg this time. So we'll start by bringing we're gonna come into tabletop, sorry. And we'll bring that left foot forward. Well, maybe just walk it up forward. Coming into, and we're gonna, if you'd like, you can tuck your toes. Coming into that low lunge or runner's lunge. Remember, you can always have your blocks on either side of your books here. And then we can lower that knee back down into crescent lunge if that feels best for you. And we're gonna work our way up. So we can work our way up from crescent lunge. Just bringing our chest, our shoulders over our hips. Only if this feels okay. Just remembering you can always stay down. This is a big stretch either way. And if it feels okay for you, if you were up in runner's lunge here, you can work your way up into high lunge. Same thing, just remembering, listening to your body and where you're at today. And we'll lower our hands. And this time we'll all lower our knees. Coming into that crescent lunge. And then we're gonna bring our hands to the middle of the mat. We're gonna walk that left foot this time out to the outer edges of the mat with our toe pointed out from our heel, coming into lizard. Feeling a nice big stretch through our hip flexor on the right side. Just remembering if at any time it doesn't feel good, returning to child's pose. And then now we'll walk our foot back into the center, or towards the center. And we're gonna sink our hips back. And then just sending that right leg back to meet our left leg, back to meet our right. Sinking back into child's pose. Or maybe coming to downward facing dog here if that feels good to you. And maybe one more heat series. Inhaling our chest forward. Exhale, lowering down. Inhaling up to your up pose. And exhaling back to downward facing dog or child's pose. Lowering our knees if you're in down dog. Coming to tabletop here. So bringing our shoulders over our wrists, our hips over our knees. Our elbows kind of winking at each other. And engaging our core, nice long spine. Our neck's an extension of the spine. We're gonna inhale, drop our belly, lifting our sits bones, the crown of our head to cow. Exhale, rounding our back to cat pose. And we'll just flow that a few times with your own breath. Finding whatever movement feels good in your body today. And then we're gonna come one more little bit of core work here. If you'd like, you can always sink into child's pose. You can go to down dog and stretch. Everything is optional. Walking our hands a little bit forward. We're gonna come into plank or modified plank. Actually, we're gonna come into plank or tabletop. So if you wouldn't like to do this from full plank, we're gonna come to tabletop. So just like we were at. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna model it from plank, but from tabletop, you can do all the same things, just from tabletop. So we're gonna come into plank, for those that are. Nice strong plank here, and then we're gonna bring our right knee, and we're gonna bring it up to our right elbow, send it back, right knee to chest, send it back, right knee to left elbow, send it back. We're gonna do the same thing with the left side now. So from plank or tabletop, right knee to right elbow, or left knee to right elbow, sending it back, left knee to chest, sending it back, left knee to left elbow, sending it back, lowering our knees, sinking down. Maybe one last child pose here, big toes together, knees wide apart. We're gonna send our hands out. Then we're gonna bring the palms of our hand together if this feels okay. And just bring that prayer hands, resting it on the back of our neck. Thinking about something we're grateful for since we're in prayer hands. And then we're gonna bring ourselves up. And from here, we're gonna make our way to our mat. So we can come onto our hip, just slowly lowering ourselves down. Or if you'd prefer, you can lower yourselves down like a sit-up, one vertebrae at a time. Just choosing what feels right for you. And from here, we're gonna grab that strap or belt or towel, whatever it is you've got. Now we're gonna start by bringing our right foot. We're gonna wrap that strap or towel tie around the ball of our right foot. And we're gonna bring the strap into both hands. And we're just gonna very gently draw that right leg back towards us, towards our chest. So everybody's gonna be in a different spot today. And just finding a gentle stretch. Ensuring you've got a little bend in that right knee just to, so we don't hyperextend. And then we find that spot where we can feel a nice stretch, just breathing into that stretch. And then we're going to inhale, bring our foot back up. We're going to bring the strap into our right hand. And we're just going to gently allow that leg to fall open to the right. So we should be getting a nice stretch in that inner groin, inner thigh area. And breathing into that stretch. You don't want to feel pain here, just a nice stretch. And then we'll inhale, back up to center. We're going to switch the straps in our hands now, so it's going to come to our left hand. And we're just going to we might need to straighten out that left leg to do this one, but whatever feels right to you. We're going to gently bring that right leg across our body towards the left to just a nice twist here. Nice stretch on the outside of our right hip. And then back up to center. And we're going to lower that right leg this time, and we're going to switch legs. So we're going to wrap the strap around our left foot, bringing it up. Our sole of our foot towards the ceiling, and then we're just going to gently draw that leg towards our chest till we feel a spot where we get a nice gentle stretch. And then this time we're going to bring the strap into our left hand and just allow that leg to fall open towards the left side. And then drawing it back up to center, switching the strap to our right hand, and this time allowing that left foot to cross our body over towards the right side. Feeling a gentle twist and a gentle stretch on the outside of our left leg and left hip. And we're going to engage our core, drawing that back up to center. We're going to lower that strap down, and we're just going to draw both our knees into our chest, into knees to chest. Maybe rocking side to side or making circles with our knees. And then we're going to bring our left leg up straight, and we're just going to bring our right, outside of our right ankle, onto just above our left knee, so that our right knee's out, go to the side, and then we're going to bring our right hand through that gap, and our left hand around the outside of our left leg, so that we can interlace our fingers around our left leg, and then just gently drawing that left knee towards our chest to recline pigeon, getting a nice stretch on the outside of our right hip. This is a little bit gentler way of doing pigeon pose. And then we'll send that right leg up straight and bringing our left foot across, bringing our hands between that gap, interlacing our hands around the back of our right thigh, and gently drawing that right knee towards our chest. Just finding a gentle stretch on the outside of the left hip. And then we'll undo that leg. Maybe one more knees to chest here. And then we're going to lower our feet down. Actually, sorry, no, we're not. We're going to bring those knees back up so our knees are bent. We're just going to inhale to engage our core, keep our neck core nice and strong. We're going to exhale, just bringing those knees over towards the left side, keeping them bent. Thinking about keeping our shoulders engaged onto the floor. Now your knees may not come all the way to the floor, and that's totally normal. You can put a pillow or a blanket under there if you'd like, or a block or a book if that feels a little better. Our gaze can stay up at the ceiling, or it can even go over our right hand for a full body twist. Just choosing whatever feels best. And we'll engage our core, coming back up to center. This time we'll just let those knees and legs fall over towards the right side. Bringing them to a block or a pillow or a bolster if that feels best. Our gaze can stay up at the ceiling or even go over our left hand. And then we're going to engage our core, drawing ourselves back up to center. One more knees to chest here. Giving ourselves a nice little hug, little lower back massage. And we're going to come into reclined cobbler pose. So we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and lower those feet down to the mat. Just allowing our knees so our bottom body's going to be diamond. Just allowing our knees to come open here. Another option, if it feels not real comfortable for you, you can always place those blocks or those books underneath your knees here as well for support, or underneath your thighs. Sometimes it feels nice just to have something to relax those legs onto. And then you can decide here if you'd like to stay in cobbler pose for the remainder of class. You're more than welcome to do that. But we can also make our way to corpse pose if that feels better for you. Just listening to your body and seeing what feels best. If you'd like to go to corpse pose, sending your feet out towards the outer edges of the mat. to fall open. Bring your hands along your side, palms facing up. Maybe softening your gaze or closing your eyes, if that feels all right. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth once here. Just letting go of all the last little bit of tension you might be holding on to. And then with your next inhale, just thinking about inhaling gratitude into your body. And exhaling out tension. So we're just going to go through a little guided gratitude meditation. So I'm going to bring awareness to all things in your life that you might be thankful for. Give gratitude the chance to come up naturally. And when it comes up, just feel yourself sink into that feeling. Surrender to it. Notice how it feels in your body. And if it doesn't come up, that's okay. There's no need to force it. Just surrendering to your heart, not your head. We'll just do one quick scan through our body. Noticing if we feel tension anywhere. And sending our breath to any area of tension we feel. Maybe lowering our shoulders away from our ears. Maybe relaxing our hands. Relaxing that spot between our eyebrows and our jaw. And even relaxing our feet. So firstly, I'm going to bringing your awareness to your breath as you inhale and as you exhale. Maybe feeling gratitude for the fact that each of these breaths gives you life. Now bringing awareness to your heart, beating, pulsing, filling with love and compassion and peace. Bringing your awareness to your eyes that let you see faces, smiles, the sunrise, the sunset, your family, and yourself in the mirror. Bringing awareness to your ears that beam in sound, music, laughter, the voices of those you love, silence, all the beautiful sounds of your life. Bringing your awareness to your nose that smells the ocean breeze, the flowers, freshly cut grass, freshly baked cookies. Bringing your awareness to your lips and mouth that taste and sing, that kiss and speak, that whisper. Bringing your awareness to your hands that hold and touch, that applaud and squeeze, to your arms and shoulders that carry and hug and lift and stretch, to your feet and toes, the gift to dance and walk, to run and leap. What about your tears, your sorrows, to the strength that you seem to be able to muster to make it through each day? Bringing your awareness to your abundance, your evolution, the empathy and love and light, to your ability to see growth and to grow. Now just breathing and feeling more grace, more ease. Noticing the warmth, love, and compassion that gratitude brings into your life and into your heart. Experience drifting your awareness to your relationships in your life now, the new ones and older ones. Now thinking of love in your life and the people and connections that are sweet and loving and honorable and just feel right. When we no longer take life for granted, we become grateful for everything we have. Just breathing now and feeling this gratitude. Feeling your entire body filled with gratitude. And then slowly beginning to bring attention back to our body, back to your space. Choosing now to do whatever feels right for you. Perhaps it's wiggling your fingers and toes, or stretching, or taking a deep breath. And when it feels good, rolling onto your right side for a breath or two in sleep pose. Taking your time, and there's no rush. And just slowly making your way to simple seated to end class together. I shared a quote from Melody Beattie at the beginning of class. I'm just going to share the whole reading now. She says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, and a stranger into a friend. It turns problems into gifts, failures into successes, the unexpected into perfect timing, and mistakes into important events. It can turn an existence into a real life, and disconnected situations into important and beneficial lessons. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for our today, and creates a vision for tomorrow." This time, let's just bring our hands to heart center, into prayer hands. Taking one last breath together as class. Inhaling through our nose. Exhaling. Thank you for joining me today. I am grateful for all the connections I have with all of you.